The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.
Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
We're back, 2026, new year,
Let's go.
big goals.
It's a
We
big
love
year.
the new year.
I know. We do. Love
Me
the
and
new
Cole love the new year. We're like business zoning, or like planning, scheming.
Wrapping up the previous year on
Clients
the
get
next.
excited to
Yes.
revisit everything. They're like, all right, let's new year, let's re-strategize or keep
What's happening in 2026?
So if you listened before, we always recap our goals from the year before on the podcast. If you're new here, so these were the goals we set last year for 2025. We're going to see how
We've been doing this a while, haven't we?
I know.
That's all, we're coming up on 100 episodes too, right?
So yes, before I get into that, so if you don't miss 100, like, subscribe, share. We always appreciate that. Helps the algorithm. That's why we're here. Bring you financial podcasts. No sports this year. Going right into the financials.
I love it.
All the nitty gritty. Okay, Cole J, let's wrap up your goals. I'm going to read your 3 goals off the bat that you set in 2025, and you just tell me the one you did the best. Ready? Have more communication with my wife on financials, Chelsea. Add 2 centers of influence to the business network. Increase your network by 10 to 15% in track monthly. Which one did you just knock out of the park?
You had a typo there, net worth.
Oh, geez. I didn't say it wrong.
I just was giggling.
Such an idiot.
Classic Baileigh
Me
thing.
and Cole don't judge.
Yeah, no, when we have
Typos.
typos, it's like a running joke always. Like we both have a lot
Or
of
if
typos.
we mess up a name and the girls are like, oh, that's spelt wrong. I'm like, okay, fix it.
We'll get it figured out, right? So which one I did the best on? The easiest goal is always to measure, right? Or your monetary goals. I definitely had a good year. The market, my investments, things went up.
Don't be modest. Cole's being modest. You had also a great year, new clients. Like, your business has expanded really well.
Yeah, business wise, we
a lot of referrals.
Yep, we really had a really, really solid 2025. The team was clicking. I love I always gauge like the pace of the office and. We're all busy, right? And that's what's good. I think everyone, you can feel the activity and things, and we're really thankful to the clients, clients and everyone that's chose to work with us. So the net worth side for me, that was a measurable.
So you guys all know he's 10% wealthier.
Yep. So I hit that.
I
definitely hit that track. So that was the easiest one for me to look and say, yes, I hit, because I can look at the numbers and it says, yes, I hit it. So the second one, 2 centers of influence, I definitely increased my centers of influence this year. And this is where something I was being intentional about and what that is for people that aren't in our industry. It's really, think of like attorneys, CPAs, people that maybe a client of mine works with, but they're professional outside of me. A lot of times
they're influencing other people.
They're a good resource and source of business for us. So it might be an estate attorney or whatever it is, where they're sending us clients, or we have some mutually connected clients that we've developed a deeper relationship. Because generally, we're just like we're referring out to an attorney or a CPA. A lot of times they're referring to a financial advisor or an accountant, whatever it might be. So I definitely feel like
grounded in that.
I feel like I could check that one off the box. And then the one I wasn't I would say is it's tougher to measure, but I would give myself like half credit on would be the communication with Chelsea on our financial picture.
Because you have too much going on.
Yeah, it is a little overwhelming sometimes to talk about, and everyone knows this when you have kids and got things going on. Like sometimes it's not that fun with your significant other. Like when you get some downtime without kids, you're like, man, I want to go. I want to. Yes, I want to do something. I don't want to sit and look at spreadsheets and what our net worth is. Right, so.
I do.
Chelsea, Chelsea a lot of time. Well, does the credit card still work? Okay, we're good to go. So, but no,
I disagree though, because favorite episode in 2025, Eddie Thompson. You guys went through that whole process. Go back and listen to Eddie Thompson, and he's one of your center of influence. But you and Chelsea went through that, so you're probably not thinking about that. I disagree with you.
I did not think about that.
Yep, I think you nailed that goal, because you guys went through that full blown process of really aligning. what would happen, what you have with Eddie. So
I appreciate that. Makes me feel a lot better because we did have
deep. I mean, you both told me that.
And it wasn't just like, there was just, it sparked a lot of conversations that, not only we had in that meeting, but after, right, driving home or whatever, where we were talking about that. So I will say I probably did better. We did better on that one.
Yeah, because I think you're thinking you think talk to Chelsea, all right, here's the actual numbers. And I used to do that with Luke, and he doesn't care about the actual numbers. He just wants to know what
can we live? Yeah. Then, okay.
It's more of a behavioral thing. Like, this is how much we're aiming towards. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, okay, we have this much in Roth, this much in the business. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I'm just going to give you a little props there.
Well, thank you. Let's go through yours.
Okay.
So here was Bailey's. Don't take the phone upstairs at night. Organize, clean up folders
at work. That's like
okay. I got it. Yep.
Red tail.
And then I assume CW and RT. So learn client works and red tail more proficiently.
Those are our systems. At work.
Those are a couple of the technology systems that we use. One's our client management system, and the other's our platform for all of our accounts and all that stuff. So, how'd you do on those?
Okay, don't take the phone upstairs. Killed that. There is a couple nights I did take it up, and wow. Does it mess up because how I would end my evening is how I'd start my day. Right? Yeah. But me and Luke, I will say this, I try to relax a little more at the end of the year, which I don't like because then it makes me feel less relaxed that I feel scattered. But me and Luke would bring the iPad upstairs and watch some Stranger Things episodes. So,
do you have a TV in your room?
Absolutely.
Oh,
not.
You don't? Okay.
No. Luke wants one.
I'm a TV in the room guy.
I know. So I know myself. I know I would just lay in bed and relax. I probably should chill me out, but I
fall asleep right away.
See,
it's like a night lamp.
It'll wire me.
Puts me to sleep. I can't watch anything.
Crush that. It's life changing. Especially I can turn off from work better.
Yeah.
I also in the morning don't check. I used to check my email right away in my phone. I just don't.
Good for you.
It will be there when I get to it, but it's still hard. Organize, clean up folders. I would say 60 to 70% here. I had a lot of changes.
You did.
My year did not go as I thought it would go at full swing. I would say it's just evolved. You know what I mean? Like faster than...
That's a good thing to think for clients, right? Your financial picture, it's never, it's never perfect or never, it's never the same, right? And it can evolve. Mm-hmm. A couple decisions can change the whole trajectory of the route you're going. And I would say there was a few things that we adjusted at work, overall as a team that really changed, some of your duties and things that you're doing.
I do a lot of things probably that people don't know about, but I refocus to just some of my own clients. So big change to get in there and learn more. Yeah, I would definitely say more proficient in Redtail and ClientWorks. Could I be better? Absolutely. Way more proficient in ClientWorks. Redtail still, it's just like, I'm a perfectionist, so nothing's never good enough for me. So I know this. I do therapy, guys.
I would say you did a pretty good job of the two that
are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally crushed it. So Cole's wealthier. I'm on my phone list. So that's what you guys need to know. I'm also...
Peter, did you have any goals?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if I did set any goals, but I do want to say, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Oh, thank you.
Great. That's awesome.
Thank you. Which we'll get into our episode, which is we're going to talk about what actually moves the needle financially. And if you went back to our last episode, we recapped the questions you really need to ask yourself.
And what doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, and what does not move the needle. That's important. But we do think sometimes simplicity really is the key to financial wins. I will die on that hill, and I think Cole J would too. So number one, what actually moves the needle financially? And we want you to know these things so you can rock the year. Consistency over perfection. What a tangent we went from there.
This is probably the number one thing that I talk about, I would say, when we're thinking of like, hey, gauging what we're doing. And it's the consistency is what matters, right? And being disciplined on a set plan for a long period of time, of not trying to have the spikes of the highs and lows, the ins and outs of just being, hey, we're going to be very, very consistent on what we're doing.
I'm going to put this money away every month. I'm going to take 10 minutes on a Monday. Like, I think when people think I talk about my budget, I do it for 5 hours every day. And that's all I look at. Like the way I talk about, no, I just literally check it real quick, look at it for 5 minutes once a week, and then I go on with my life. They're little systems. And, systems are, you're reading that book again. Systems are what builds it. So consistency, we want that over perfection. You don't, every year, just put away what you can, budget what you can, make the money you can. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Again, perfection's such a, like, what is that?
Yes.
Right? To you, it's such a hard thing of let's narrow it down, try to be intentional, and let's just get consistent on what we're doing year over year. or maybe it's down to week over week,
month over month. It just depends. We say this a lot. Your life's not supposed to look like theirs. My financial plan does not look like Cole Jaskie's. Not similar in one sense.
So I like that. Systems that survive real life.
Yeah, because real life happens.
And we're I think with our business and what we do is such a process and systems oriented of like, we talk about that all the time. And that literally, that's our business model of like, hey, we're building systems and processes to serve clients, and to serve clients consistently and better each year. Same thing goes to an individual financial plan.
Yes. Right? And we were talking about this off air, like if your fitness journeys are very similar to financial journeys, like if you're just not going to go take a 30-minute walk every day because you're not walking a fast enough pace, so you just don't do it. Same with financial, right? Like a 30-minute walk a day makes a huge difference in someone's life. Like same financially. If you're just consistent and contribute once a month, it really adds up over time. Peter wants to say something.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things somebody told me. You're going to lap everybody that's sitting on the couch, no matter how slow you're walking.
Yeah. I love that.
That's awesome.
That's a good one.
You got some good quotes today, Peter.
He's on it. Peter's got a mic.
I think one example of a system that I have personally, right? This would be every month I have in my phone recurring, and it doesn't stop. Is hey, update my net worth statement. Yep. It's kind of the way that I budget a little bit. It's an indirect budget. Like it's more of just hey, I'm doing a personal balance sheet every single month. I have every partnership I'm a part of, any debt that I have, any, equity that I might think I have if I were to sell it, real estate, whatever it might be. I put it all on there, and then I have a month end total that it totals on, so I can track. I can go back, I think, to 2021, somewhere in that.
That's fine. It's not where my starts, but I'm older
somewhere
than Cole.
Somewhere in that range. I've said if I pulled it up, I could look and see. So I literally have just a running total, and then I have tabs, and it takes me 10
That's what I'm saying.
minutes
Once you start doing it.
Yeah, 10 minutes, and it's just a natural thing. The reminder comes up on my phone. I do it in the morning before I start anything when that day is, or sometimes it'll, if I'm out and about or something, I can't get it right away, but normally within a couple days, and I have that, and that's
there's that awareness,
it's an accountability thing, right? And I know where my numbers are.
Yep. Okay, number 2, what moves the needle? Small, meaningful habits over big one-time decisions. So to me, it's always like the one huge transaction does not beat, the 52 small habits you did all year. Like, what I mean? If you got a big bonus, you put it at the end of the year, that's great. I'm not saying that, but it's the small things. It's the small, meaningful things over time.
It's boring, right? It's doing the
I
boring
love being
things.
Boring.
It's this is RIP. We don't have Matt Campbell in Iowa anymore. Went to Penn State.
Everyone is real sad.
Fall in love with the process, and the process will love you back, right? This is that like, think of it as an athlete, right? You don't become the starting, quarterback at Iowa State or wherever it is overnight, right? It takes a bunch of really, really small, boring steps to get there, to get to that point. And this is the same thing financially. Yes, it is great to have a windfall, get an inheritance or whatever it is, but most of the time it's as boring as saving in your 401k every week out of your paycheck, right? And you're just doing that consistently.
I was just going to say what we have, what most listeners don't have, is the experience of sitting with people all the time and talking about it.
Super powerful.
And I sit down every day and I kind of reflect on me, and I'm like, oh, it's so true. The small things that no one talks about, the boring consistency, the automatic savings, the getting the max employer match, the paying yourself first, like those small things, like we hear it. We get to see the whole.
I have multiple stories where I'm like, people come to us, they've already maybe accumulated their wealth, and I ask like, hey, how did you get these dollars? And like, oh, I don't,
I just put $50 away a month.
Yeah, I put it in my I just been contributing to my 401k for 30 years. I'm like, oh, that's great. You have $1.2 million. Like good for you. Like you didn't do it. No, I never saved anything too crazy. I just did it very consistently and intentional for a lot of time.
And we do this with our 401ks. This is such a small little thing, but I'm always like, please check the box that says automatically increase this by 1% every year. Cause like that makes a huge difference over a decade. You know what I mean? If you're just like always doing 4% for 10 years versus someone who's doing 4%, 6%, it just little automations.
Most people, if you're with an employer, for year over year or multiple years, you're going to have some type of wage increase generally. Right. And if you're not, when you have those wage increases or get your raise or whatever it might be, that's a great time to say, okay, do I need to pay myself more?
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm getting paid more, but now what am I saving? I'm maybe doing 6% and I got a 3% raise. Well, let's take, 1% of that 3% raise, and now I'm doing 7% or 8%
Absolutely.
Or whatever it might be. Those are, little, small, meaningful things. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm saving 15%. which is a really good number that we would like to see people at 15%
I love when
or
people
higher.
ask me, I'm like 15% of your income. I'm like,
let's get there, and it doesn't have to happen overnight,
Right.
but baby steps to get there and small incremental steps. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's nice. I'm doing 15% plus my employer match. I've got 21% going in my 401k.
Okay, number 3, awareness and accountability over motivation. This is my favorite. This is why. When you have someone holding you accountable or you're aware, like your thing, it always beats motivation. Because I'm going to tell you this, motivation shows up and it comes and goes and it's always late. It's only there for a brief amount of time. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Like I think how motivated I feel sometimes for work. I always think about working out. I'm never super motivated to wake up at 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just aware I need it. I just have accountability. You know what I mean?
It is
Motivation. She's a liar and she's late.
Motivation in
it's like
relating it to working out is like, there's so many times where you're like, man, I feel
Short-lived.
great today. And then there's other days you're like, why is that? You know, you're like, God, I do not want to be here.
Hormones.
You know, and it's
That's
like,
what that
well, I
is.
mean, I find myself just like that self-talk before you're like,
Yes.
I know I need to go to the gym, but I don't want to, you know, and then the other days you're like, oh, I just got there.
And you're like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you don't want to wait on motivation because it's short-lived and it's not always there. Where awareness, if you have your awareness all the time and accountability, that's always there. So when you don't want to show up, when you don't want to put the money away, it's just consistently like financial advisors, it's statistics. People who work with financial advisors are more financially successful. And it's just that accountability. It's really just sitting down with someone and being like, these small changes, or I'm still doing this.
It's probably one of the most underrated things that like indirect impact that we have is that accountability factor. Or you know, we're going to ask the question, or, you know, we're going to ask that question of like, well, why aren't we, you know, you told me you wanted to do this. Why aren't we doing this? Right. And it's like, well, you're like, well, we bought a new house and, you know,
And then
we
he
run
wanted
into
a car.
we're then you start going through
Going
and
to
then
Hawaii.
yes, it is. And it's one of those things of like, hey, and that's always, awareness is always one of those steps of like, hey, we have to be aware of where things are going. Okay, what are our goals or what objectives do we want to accomplish? And that's where I do think that's something where if you're someone that falls in line that you feel like you do have trouble with that accountability side or following through
I feel
on
like
things.
everyone does.
Yes, at some
It's
point.
very rare.
Yes,
Most people
yes.
have someone that holds them accountable. Good friend, good spouse. But I would say this: it's easy to set goals while you're excited, which I do. I'm excited right now. I just set all my goals. But consistency comes when you have the support systems. Like I have Cole at work, and the team, and at home I have Luke. Like I have good people around me, and I think that makes a big difference.
You know what's great about our industry is, you know, like when we're competitive in the office, but our numbers, there's numbers. You can always see numbers, right?
Yep.
And you can judge them. So we have natural accountability for our office. You know, with if. And our goals are different sometimes on the office level, business level of things, but it's like it's always easier when you put things in monetary goals. But we know there's so many goals out there that are maybe more subjective or bigger picture, more emotional side of the goals.
And I think accountability and awareness again comes back to why are we doing it, and this is why I'm staying consistent. So it's easier to stay consistent in those small habits. So that will move the needle for you if you just have a good accountability coach. And I know a couple.
All right. Number 4, understanding your why over just setting goals.
Okay. We just talked about this in our last episode. And I think this is super important. I really do. When you really know what you're doing and why you're doing it, like, sorry, Peter, like we were talking about this in our last episode. He doesn't have kids. It's easy for me. Like my kids are my why, but why are they my why? Like, what do I want for them? What do I want for me? You know what I mean? Like, why do I work, so many hours and do so much? What's the purpose behind it? And I think that's so important.
This is, again, not always like jumping out at the page, right? It's easy to say, well, why? Well, I want to retire when I'm 65, right? But there's so much more than that. And maybe it's like, well, I want to make more money because I want to gift more, right? I want to have more of an impact of like just my family, or like, I'm not worried about my kids. Some people aren't as worried, and they're like,
I probably won't be by the time
I want to
they're
give more
older.
to the church. I want to give more to my school. I want to give whatever it might be,
and why that matters to you. Like what matters to Cole is not what matters to me, vice versa. And same for you. Like you want to take your goal and pair it with purpose. Like, why are we doing this? I want to retire because I want to do this in retirement, and I want my life to look like this, and I want to travel, or I want to go volunteer. I want to do pickleball. That's my goal in retirement. I just want to play hours and hours of pickleball.
Definitely. I think you're more likely to succeed on a goal, if you really know the why behind it, right? If it's not just like, hey, I want to retire at 65, but why do you want to retire at 65? Like, well, I want to do this, this, and this, more of this, and I don't have the time while I'm working, right?
Yes.
Or I want to be there because I want to babysit my grandkids.
I was just gonna say, I have a great example. So I visualize this. I'm like, why do I do X, Y, Z? I'm like, so if Collins and Camden and Day have kids someday and they want to continue working or whatever, I can take 2 months off. I can do whatever I want and go help if they want my help. I'm not saying they will. Or, you know what I mean? If me and Luke want to go travel and go live in a different state for a month, I definitely want to be able to do that. Like, I want to experience more, and I want my kids to see us experiencing more. So there's
that's your why.
There's a couple whys right there for you. So, okay. You talk about this a lot. Simplicity beats complexity.
Yeah, a lot of times, someone will come in and they just have so much going on, right? Or they're overthinking things, right? Like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. But a lot of times it's just like back to the basics. And
have you ever heard of KISS when you play sports? KISS?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
that's where my brain went.
Again, all I can have is my experience and some of the, some of my most successful clients that I see from a monetary standpoint, right? I can look and say, okay, you have this amount of wealth and here's how you got it. A lot of times
it's not the sexy, crazy, there wasn't big story.
There wasn't a magical potion or things that they did anything different. They were very consistent. Sometimes it was as simple as like, hey, I just did the same thing for 35 years and I was very disciplined and intentional and I knew what I was saving and I wasn't, overspending doing X, Y, Z or all the other things. I was being very disciplined and
because when it's simple, you can repeat it. When it's complex, then every year you get this complexity of overthinking it, over making decisions, and then you make no decision. We're simple. You're like, all right, this is what I'm doing. It's simple. And I think we live in a world where we kind of glamorize the most wealthy, right? Like when you think of wealthy, you look at the top 5%. Like I'm talking like the Kardashians, I don't watch them, but you know what I'm saying? So you look at them and you're like, that's not real life. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Let's bring it back down to earth. What are the wealthy, that you're in that level of doing? And it's simple. It's just simple, consistent little things.
Focus on decisions on clarity, not sophistication. Right?
And I think we always says, if you can't explain why you own it, don't own it. You know what I mean? Know why you own it. Keep it simple. Keep doing the little things.
And if you're someone that's starting or just kind of getting started on like, hey, I want to have more direction in my financial life, start with some of the simple things. Don't try to tackle everything at once. And maybe it's as simple as doing a budget, right? Or the basics of like, let's just do a reconciliation of my last 12 months of spending and like, okay, where's my money going? Right. Yes. Those easy,
even a month, like let's just track it for a month and see where it goes and how much.
Well, now we got technology. It's so easy to compile all the data. So,
oh my gosh. I was doing some goal planning like a couple weeks ago and I was popping stuff and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I was like, give me my data on this. Give me my
AI. It's a cheat. It's a hack in life, isn't it?
Yep.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Wealth paradox.
Ooh, the first one of 2026.
Yes, this is coming from USA Today. There are now 24 million U.S. millionaires, a number that grew by 1K a day per day in 2024. And a recent Harris Poll survey found that 74% of American millionaires that's funny. It says in America. No doubt. They're American millionaires in America. Work with a financial advisor. So throwing a little plug, the accountability in the financial advisors compared to just 34% of the general public and only 36% of those millionaires consider themselves wealthy.
Again, because when you sit down with someone, it just makes it. I literally think about this. I'll take this outside of financial use fitness. If I go talk to someone, they set up a plan for me and I follow their plan, I am way more, it's still my plan, but I'm following it because I've sat down, I've committed with someone, I'm game on, you know?
I also find the statement in there about consider themselves wealthy, right? And that's, again, a word that I throw around a lot is relative, right? Wealthy compared to what, right? Is like,
to who?
Well, you know, some people wealthy is like, hey, I have freedom to do what I want. That might be wealthy, right? And that's one thing.
Wealthy might be like, I can put the food on every night and I enjoy being home with my family and I get to go to work the next day.
Yep. So little plug, little shout out for
more
financial
millionaires.
Yeah, working with a financial advisor or an accountability partner.
And if you want a fun financial advisor, I mean, pick me, not Cole. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Go find Baileigh Bashbrook on all of her social media platforms and like and subscribe.
Okay, let's talk about in 2026 what does not move the needle financially for success. But people, I feel like they do this and it just gets a little overwhelmed. I love this first one because I've done this. I'm guilty. Go ahead.
Setting too many goals.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, I've really tried to narrow down on the amount of, because we're in that world of like goals and business planning. Like that's our world of like what we live in day in and day out.
And you got to prioritize them.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, what's, you know, the most wildly important or whip goal, wildly important goal, right? Yeah. That's one that I always think of like, okay, let's start to the top. What's the most important thing we're going to accomplish this year and maybe build a couple fingers or off that. Right?
So what I do is I have financial goals, family goals, spiritual, and business. But then I used to put like 15 under each of those. And then I went, you know, and now it's like, these are the top 2 in this focus area. The rest are kind of, you know, if it happened, you know, because then I've learned if
maybe if you didn't have kids, you could track all these goals. But as soon as
I noticed like, as long as I just prioritize the main ones, the rest seem to happen. You know what I mean? Yep. Like they're not a focal point. They just kind of trickle. Like same with people who budget. Like if your main goal is just a budget, it's weird how all of a sudden you're investing more and you're like feeling a little more freedom and you actually make more money because you're not feeling stressed about it. Like you're more relaxed. It's just like, you don't have to make that sale. It's just, you can make that sale.
It has a contagious effect, right? Once you start doing some of the habits start to lead, you know, you set your habits should, hopefully you're making good habits to impact the goals.
Yes.
And then it has that, you know, trickle down effect of like all of a sudden a lot of things start to fall in line and happen in the right direction.
And then that way you're not so scattered. You're focused, you're driven, you got the simplest goal, you hit one. It's kind of like when people pay off debt. They pay off a small debt, they get excited, they pay off the next one, same concept. So don't overdo the goals.
Waiting for the perfect moment. This is
you.
And we've seen this a lot here the last 3 years because the market's been
at all time.
Yeah, and I'm thinking this of like the perfect moment can be, hey, to start a budget or to invest or whatever it might be, right? Or to have a child, whatever. Right?
There is no perfect.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Is like, you know, ultimately you still need some type of action. So especially when we're laying this back to a goal or maybe it's investing something there. I'm going to tie it more to investing because that's where I hear this more. And it's like, hey, let's start from the top. What are we trying to accomplish? Okay, the timing shouldn't matter. If you have
if you do try and time it, most people don't. Caveat, just so you know.
Yeah, the math will tell you, like, hey, should I invest at all-time highs or not, or what?
We actually
whatever
just sat down with this statistically. If you invest at all-time highs, you actually ride the wave up too. It's like
all-time highs fall all-time highs.
Yes,
right. So it's like, and there's, but we really want to get back to is there's never a perfect moment. Right. If everyone knew the perfect moment, everyone would wait and do it all at the same time. Right. So if we could all predict it together. And if you keep
waiting, life's just going to keep happening. Yep. The perfect moment was yesterday. I always say that.
And it's always let the plan dictate, you know, the other things and the other decisions you're making and be consistent and intentional in what you're doing.
So yeah, action's always going to beat waiting. We know that timing the market, we would love to. Our job, we would make so much money if we could time the market every day. So, all right, ready? Consuming more information instead of acting, which kind of goes on. This, I think, is I feel like our generation has so much information at their fingertips. I find this, like, I'll be like indulging in parenting information, parenting book, parenting post, parenting this. And then I'm like, Baileigh, you actually got to do the parenting thing. Same with financial.
No doubt. We'll run across this where you're like, well, I want to wait or I want to learn more about this or let me do some research on this. And
yes.
Not that we ever want to pressure someone into things, but a lot of times I always tell people, let's get started. Let's make sure we have some flexibility in what we're doing. So if we do plan incorrectly or maybe it wasn't quite perfect, we can adjust and tailor things, right? But a lot of times it's
Information's great.
Let's get you going,
Yes.
right? Let's just make an action step and let's set up a monthly savings plan and just start doing it.
I think about any new job, you kind of always get thrown into it. You're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but how much more quickly do you learn by just doing it than watching someone do it? Same concept. You're going to learn more by investing than watching other people invest.
I'm trying to think of situations where I've done this as like analysis by paralysis.
I was going to say,
or
you've
paralysis
done this.
by analysis. Yeah. Oh, I'll overanalyze stuff at times. Then I'm like, boy, I learned nothing by doing that. I should have just did the action and then learn. I needed to. Sometimes you need. It's the trial by fire, or you learn by the action, right? You have to get the experience and like, okay, I need to adjust a few things. I didn't like that based on that circumstance. And now there are times where you do need to be more planned. So we're not saying just dive into things, but they're depending on how big the decisions or what maybe, other impacts you're making, you probably need to have a little bit more education, but we can't just learn every little single thing and delay all the action.
I was just going to say, a lot of people, I feel like they get all the education and then they don't execute, right? Like
Many times
where it's like, let's execute while we're getting the education. Let's do both.
Classic example in our world would be they meet with the financial advisor, they meet with the attorney, they meet with the CPA, and they get this big estate plan. They get all this feedback from all these people. They pay the attorney to start executing documents, and then they never get things finished to the end, right?
That happens a lot.
They overanalyze or overdo it, and they educated, get all the professionals, maybe paid some money out to do it, and they never executed the final plan.
Yep. So last thing that does not move the needle, comparing your progress to others. This is number one for sure.
This bothers me.
I know. I knew I could feel your skin boiling over there. Your neighborhood, your friend, their timeline is not your timeline. Their confidence does not steal from you. Like, don't let their situation create financial anxiety, which I think it's really hard to do in this world I say this all the time with social media, keeping up with the Jones. But I always ask, you really don't know what's going on besides someone's closed door.
It's just like, I always compare like your investment accounts and stuff to people that talk about gambling wins and losses, right? You always hear about the gambler win. You never hear about the gambler lost, right? So I'm like, I bought this stock and did this, or I bought GameStop whenever all that stuff was going on. I made, 100% return, and they're like, well, why ain't I making that? Right. And it's like, in reality, you haven't heard about all the other things, and really they're just broke even because they messed around and did all kinds. It's the same thing with like, someone that's a gambler and talks about their gambling winnings, right? You never hear about a loss things, but also just to go on with that is like, their situation is different than yours, right? And this is that the goals section of like, what my priorities for my money are different than yours. So should we have the same dollar amount saved? No, we shouldn't, because what I'm doing on a daily basis is what's important to me is different than what's important to you.
And I feel like that stops a lot of people. Like, they'll look at someone from the outside and be like, well, they have a nice house and nice cars and they must be doing really well. So I'm just going to like you know what I mean? It like gives them that anxiety. You can hear when they're talking about like, how are they doing that? I'm like, again, let's focus on what can you do today? What are we doing in your shoes?
And I would say we wouldn't talk about this so much, but we know it's super relevant because we get asked this a lot. And it's like, well, how am I doing compared to someone else my age? And
Absolutely.
I'm like, well, not everyone your age wants to do what you want to do. So I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. It's more like, well, what do you want?
Yeah.
Right. And then let's compare that to you. And are we hitting your benchmarks? It doesn't matter what the outside world thinks.
And I think this comes with being aligned with who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because I will say this is where I think I shine in life. I'm very disciplined because I'm very aligned with who I am. Like, I don't care what Sally's doing down the street. Like, if Sally's doing all this and I'm not, I don't think, oh, should I be doing that? Should I be driving that car? Should I be wearing those? I'm very you know what I mean? Unwavered by other people.
I completely agree on what you're saying. I think we have the luxury of seeing so many different personality types, so many different, scenarios, retirement plans. And we can see that, hey, there's some super happy people that have a really good life and they don't have XYZ dollars. And then there's people that have XYZ dollars and they are miserable human beings. And
you need to be aligned with yourself first.
Yep. And it's generally, that's what it comes down to. So the comparative game, it's just like, I would say, as athletes, we're always that, right? We always compare like, hey, we know who the benchmarks are.
I mean, I always want to win.
Yeah. Like, and that, yes, don't get me wrong there, but it's like, hey, you've got to be,
but I'm going to keep trying to win at my game, not at your game.
Everyone's not built the same.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, hey, I've got to focus on what I want to accomplish and what can I do to impact my situation, not what Baileigh's doing or someone that you're trying to compete with.
Yeah. And I think this comes back to being in tune, knowing yourself, don't consume more information. I mean, they all go together. Just small little changes make a big difference. So happy 2026. I can't believe we're here. Another year of the pod. We're going to cut the...
I know, it's been awesome. It's wild. We've been doing this for a while. So.
I would say this. We do want to know more of what you want to hear this year. So you can comment, email, go to our website. We have plenty of emails. You can click contact us. Just send us what you want to talk about.
We have an abundance of ways you can contact us. Someone's trying to reach us and they can't reach us.
If you're a client, like, subscribe, share, because we're going to have a lot of great content this year. But 2026, let's focus, not resolutions. Don't overdo it. Just have some, focal points of, I want to improve this in my financial decision. Here are the little habits that are going to get me here. And you'll be surprised how much can change by the end of the year. Champions behave like champions before they are champions. Bill Walsh.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole & Cole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Cole.
I'm Baileigh.
And I'm Cole.
And we'll see you on the greens.
Security and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.